Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind. So what did people think? That Joe Biden was just gonna magically get better with time? You know, if you get a common cold, give it a couple days and eventually you'll probably feel better. You'll start to feel a lot better. You'll be back to your former self. You'll get all your energy back, whatever it is. A common ailment like that goes away and your immune system works and you get better. Yeah, Joe Biden doesn't have that kind of ailment. What Joe Biden has is permanent and only has one path to take, a worsening path. Joe Biden can literally only get worse. And that was the exact warning at the start of his presidency, that clearly this isn't a good idea. Clearly, if he's in this current state now, well, as time goes by, he's just gonna get worse and worse and worse. He's a deteriorating old man. Nobody wanted to listen, of course, at least not the leftoids, who bought into the moral panic about Donald Trump and these evil MAGA Republicans, but obviously they should have. Joe Biden doesn't do events very often for a good reason, because they tend to be disastrous. Well, Joe Biden's most recent event was horrible. I mean, horrible in so many different ways. In fact, it got so bad that at one point, in the middle of the event, as Joe Biden was still answering a question, the White House staff literally shut him down and pretty much shut the whole event down. I don't know if you guys caught this one or if you were even watching at all, but holy moly, this is the President of the United States of America. This guy. I have no words. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, friends, I wasn't kidding. Take a look at what just happened at Joe Biden's event in Vietnam.
We talked about at the conference overall. We talked about stability. We talked about making sure that the third world, the Southern Hemisphere had access to change it, had access. It wasn't confrontational at all.
Thank you, everybody. This ends the press conference. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you bringing U.S. strategic interests above human rights here in Vietnam?
I've raised it with every person I've met with.
Mr. President, are you worried about your son being indicted, Mr. President?
I saw this clip after Andrew at Don't Walk, Run Productions posted it, and I'm mentioning that because he had the best caption. He wrote, "I have never seen this occur with any other president." I think that statement's pretty true. I don't think there's ever been a president of the United States who's been chaperoned around, You guys ever seen some of those parents who put their kids on kind of like a harness, with a leash? They're a little toddler and they walk around, being able to control where the kid goes. I find it's an absolutely ridiculous practice, but anyways, that's pretty much Joe Biden. That kid on the harness leash, that's Joe. And his handlers or his staffers are the overly protective parents controlling his every move. The President of the United States is supposed to be the top level of authority, the executive. You could even argue the world's executive, but it just isn't that way with Joe. He is so obviously a puppet. He's an old, confused dog who needs to literally be handled by his staffers, and Lord knows who's actually pulling the strings.
I've said this before. People would ask me, knowing what you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats, looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. Wow. I'd be fine with that.
And I mean, come on, speaking of an old dog, here's Joe Biden during a ceremony in Vietnam. He literally looks like an old, confused dog. And my dog was like 14, 15 years old. He could barely walk and he was almost going blind. I look at Joe Biden, I see Joe Biden, and I get a very similar impression. It's very similar. It's almost uncanny. It's funny for a second, but then you realize that's the President of the United States of America. What the actual you-know-what? Then, of course, when Sleepy Joe has his odd moment of, I don't know, let's call it clarity, maybe, being able to speak. Even when he's kind kind of stringing sentences together, you still have the same reaction. You're listening and you're thinking to yourself, man, what the F? What am I listening to? Who is this guy?
So my brother loves having these famous lines from movies that he always quotes. You know, and one of them is there's a movie about John Wayne. He's an Indian scout, and they're trying to get I think it was Apache, one of the great tribes of America, back on the reservation. And he's standing with the Union, so we're all armed, they're on their horses in their saddles, and there's 3 or 4 Indians in headdresses, and the Union soldiers. The Union soldiers basically saying, Indians, come with me, we'll take care of the movie, everything will be good. And the Indian looks at John Wayne and points to the Union soldier and says, he's a lion, dog-faced pony soldier. Well, there's a lot of lion, dog-faced pony soldiers out there about global warming. But not anymore. All of a sudden, we're all realizing it's a problem. And there's nothing like seeing the light.
I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know how to crack a joke about that. I don't know how to provide commentary on that other than WTF. This guy's just going and talking, but he can't express ideas effectively. He's mumbling and speaking under his breath, unable to steer his speech to be able to just get the idea out effectively. It's just so completely insane. Then he did this again, which is just, kind of shocking.
This week, the United States warned that if there is no phasing out of fossil fuels, it won't be possible to reach the goals of the Paris Agreement. There was no agreement at the G20 on fossil fuels. How concerned are you about this lack of consensus?
It wasn't so much an agreement that we would try to beat the
As questions are being asked, he gets confused, ducks under the podium, and then wanders out of the camera frame, and the cameraman has to follow him with the camera. I've never seen anything like this. You know, this is uncharted territory. This has never happened before. To have somebody of such a high degree of incompetence and lack of cognitive ability serving as the highest executive in the world, the #1 guy, for him to be so confused, dazed and confused at all times, for him to be totally incoherent, his staff shutting him up and shutting down his press conference halfway through because it's probably his bedtime. Oh wait, actually I may be onto something. He did say this during the event.
I just think that there are other things on leaders' minds, and they respond to what's needed at the time. And look, nobody likes having celebrated international meetings if you don't know what you want at the meeting, if you don't have a game plan. He may have a game plan. He just hasn't shared it with me. But I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
Joe Biden randomly announcing during his event that he's going to bed. I guess it's yet again another accidental Freudian slip, just like the last time.
What must be what?
You know, it's all just so crazy. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know where he is. He's making references during these events like this one.
You know, there's that, one of my staff members said, remember the famous song, you know, Good Morning Vietnam? Well, good evening, Vietnam.
Claims that Good Morning Vietnam is from a famous song. No, it's from a movie. Which, you know what, I'll give him the benefit on that one. But still, you know, it's just the constant confusion, the talking while having no idea what the hell you're saying, what you're talking about. It's uncharted territory. It's unprecedented. And what's the most fascinating element of all of this is the leftist copium on the other end. You know, like the Bill Maher, Joe Rogan video that I did a couple days ago?
Well, one of the things that I don't like has nothing to do with any of his choices, is that he's mentally compromised. I think there's something wrong, and I think it's clear.
As if the other guy isn't.
Well, okay, he speaks much clearer. He might be crazy. He might be a
he
sociopath.
Is crazy. He's crazy and stupid.
As if there's not a clear issue with Joe Biden. Trump's the same. Trump's just as dumb and incompetent and old. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Trump's doing massive rallies, just freestyling for 2 to 4 hours straight without a single gaffe. Meanwhile, this guy can't last 5 seconds on a stage without embarrassing himself, the United States, the entire Western world while he's at it, and getting pulled off the stage because apparently he's going to bed. What an absolute frickin' clown show, folks. Not much else that needs to be said, or really that can be said. It's the sad state of leadership in the United States, I guess it is what it is. There's only one chance to change it, and that's in 2024. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course, we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.